Hi, welcome to SPR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our daily MLB pitching preview show with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. He gives us his thoughts on the pitching matchups, and we start to feel out possible betting value one way or another with the upcoming cards in baseball. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
All right, Joe, give a quick plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. Tell us what that site is all about, what we can find there.
As we follow this, turning it around big time, fantastic recent run after a spectacular start as well. And so many of our angles and systems and metrics have to do with pitchers having at least 5 starts under their belt. Obviously, everyone who's in the regular rotation more than qualifies for that. So now's the time to jump on board at OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, Joe, well, it's definitely a time right now to jump on board with Corey Kluber, right? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
A third straight awesome start in his last one. His last 3 starts, 25 innings, 2 runs, and an unbelievable 37-1 strikeout to walk ratio. But Cleveland only won 2 of those games. They only scored 5 runs for him combined in those 3 games. Now he's going to be on the road at Seattle, and James Paxton, not as dominant as Kluber clearly, but he's thrown 14 consecutive shutout innings over his last 2 starts at home. Cleveland not getting runs for Corey Kluber, so this is a tricky game. Maybe you want to take a shot with the over. The under. It's probably going to be 6.5-ish. I guess the first question is, what do we expect from Kluber? Another absolutely lights-out start. And second of all, do we think Cleveland will be a good bet? Because, if they only score, 1 or 2 runs for him again, maybe not. What do you think about this game, Joe?
Well, no surprise about Kluber. As I said, guys coming off of career years usually fades early. He's clearly turned it around. He's been looking like a Cy Young Award winner. But, as you said, Paxton's a guy who's sneaking under the radar. His last 6 starts, talk about, he's got Cy Young numbers, 1.63 ERA over his last 6, so that's not much of a fluke. He's pitched very well in his entire career at Safeco Field, 12 career starts at Safeco Field, 2.31 ERA. As much as, most of the angles that I have say low totals are usually overs, high totals are usually unders. This will be a low total, but it still might be a pretty good underplay because, as you say, Kluber clearly turned it around. Right. And Paxton, probably one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball.
Right, and then another guy who's kind of in a similar spot to Kluber is A.J. Burnett. He continues to hum an awesome year. He's given up 2 runs or fewer in all 9 of his starts this year, but Pitt is just 5-4 in those starts. They have won his last 4 in a row, though, but, so he's going to be on the road at San Diego. Is there any reason to expect anything other than another 7-inning, 1 or 2 run start from A.J. Burnett here?
Remember, I said before his first start this year that he seems to pitch his best for Pittsburgh. Obviously, Pittsburgh is a team that's proven in the past 3 years that they're a legitimate contender. His ERA, at least as we record this, best in major leagues at 1.37. Is it a fluke? Well, look, I'm not saying that he's going to be leading the major leagues in ERA at the end of the year, although I guess it wouldn't be the most shocking thing that happened. But this guy's got 159 wins and a pretty good 3.98 ERA, and that includes going back to the steroid era as far as in his career. So Burnett, look, I guess he's a little bit of a fluke, but it's not like it's an all-time fluke. I'm definitely buying A.J. Burnett until the facts say otherwise.
Okay, but then on the full game line, again, Pitt has only won 5 out of his 9 starts. Do you think that he might start to be actually overvalued in light of how Pittsburgh supports him?
Pittsburgh is a team that's got some good bats. I think, if anything, the lack of support he's gotten is a little fluky. It's not like we're talking about the Oakland Athletics. Pittsburgh has certainly shown in recent years that they are very much for real. I look for Burnett to get a little bit more run support. Now, again, on the flip side, do I actually expect him to pitch as great as he's been so far? Not necessarily, but I do expect him to continue to pitch well and get more run support because Pittsburgh's got bats that are capable of giving him a lot more run support than he's gotten.
All right, and then CC Sabathia on the road at Oakland. Sabathia has been basically sucking and overrated, but no one has been more overrated and overvalued than Oakland in baseball this year. So this might be a start where, CC will have one of his okay starts, 7 innings, 3 runs, something like that. On the other side, Kendall Graveman, a youngster who, can get it done at times. He got sent down to AAA, then got brought back up, and his first start back up was pretty good. I believe he's a sinker baller, so those guys can be very hot and cold. Do we expect a decent start here, though, from Sabathia and maybe look to fade Oakland once again?
Yeah, remember, I'm not a big fan of Oakland. As I've said throughout the years, when teams go all in on pitching and say the offense will take care of itself, they're usually the type of teams that I like to fade. So Oakland is a team that, although when we follow this, playing slightly better baseball, but still, I think Oakland is a good candidate to wind up having the worst return on investment in baseball at the end of the year. I'm not a big fan of Oakland, so I would agree that when your arm needs to come healthy to pitch against the Oakland Athletics can usually be a good anecdote.
Okay, and then also Shelby Miller and Chris Heston matching up at San Francisco, and I'm thinking maybe we see an under here. You know, Heston has been very up and down, but he's coming off a bad start at Cincinnati, and maybe that sets him up for a better start here at home against Atlanta. And we know what Shelby Miller has done this year, and what he's doing right now, really reliable. He's given up more than 2 runs in only 1 of his 9 starts this year, and that one he gave up 3. So Miller very reliable. At San Francisco, which can be very pitcher friendly. I'm thinking we see a good start from both these guys, or do you anticipate something different?
I've been touting Miller all year. Remember, even going back to last year, late last year, he really started to turn around. They said he made some adjustments in his pitching, and sometimes it can just be mental, but here it appears to be clearly physical. Miller is one of the best pitchers in baseball, really going back almost the last calendar year. He's been tremendous, continues to sneak under the radar. So if anything, Miller's such an undervalued pitcher. I can see going against him. If anything, you got to see if some of the other metrics, the team and offensive metrics support him. But he's a pitcher to keep betting on. Okay,
but you're not expecting a good bounce-back start from Heston here?
It's quite possible. As I said, I'm really high on Miller than I am down on Heston. So if you're high on Heston, and under is a definite possibility.
Okay, and then let me just quickly ask you about this guy, Mike Wright for Baltimore, right? He's had 2 excellent starts, first 2 starts in the majors. He also had been pitching well at AAA. He's going to give up an earned run at some point, but do we expect him to continue to have excellent 7-inning starts from here on out?
Although I generally like to go against highly touted pitchers, as you said, when you're talking about a guy who actually has performed thus far at the major league level and had done so at the minor league level, it's tough to not ride the hot hand. So I would ride the hot hand.
I think that just about covers it from the Short Thursday card. Joe Duffy's website, once again, offshoreinsiders.com. Professional handicapper, successful professional handicapper for almost 30 years. Thanks so much, Joe. Talk to you again very soon.